Hi everybody, it's me, Charles Norman from AthleticSOS.com. If you're trying to get an athletic scholarship for your high school athlete, our software can help you. So basically, we'll take their academic information, the sport they play, the level they can participate at the collegiate level, and we will take that and we'll give you a list of all the schools they academically qualified to attend that have their sport at that level, and then you guys are going to do that extra research to find out which school kind of fits who your kid is and what they're trying to accomplish as they move forward. Our whole goal here at AthleticSOS and really Sports Solutions LLC, which is the holding company for our software and some other things we're doing, is that we want to get these kids to take their athletic skill set and leverage it so that they can have a great life as they move forward. Whether no matter how far they go in their sport, from college, high school, college, professional, we want them to go as far as they can go. But we want them also to be in a position that they can take that and do some other things in their life. So we always call it our and. What you're an athlete, and what else? What else is it about your kid? What else do they want to do in their life beside the sport? Because what we see is someday that you're going to end your career as an athlete. Now, you may play recreationally, but I'm talking about an athlete that's a part of a team or a part of an organization or at a professional level, something where you're really highly trained, not just playing for fun. And so that's going to end at some point. And if it's going to end, what's next? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? In our family, my motto is you have to live a great life so that you can help other people live at least a good life. You want to give back. So we're trying to create this whole group of kids that kind of have that understanding. So and today I want to talk about is the game rigged? I was doing a presentation for a high school basketball program. I had both the girls, the boys, I had their parents, had my, had my projector, my screen up, and I'm walking them through the software, how to use it, how to register, what we're trying to accomplish with it, all of that stuff. And so afterwards, one of the parents came up and their son was going to be playing on the basketball team, just joined the team, had already been practicing and stuff, but he played football. And so he was coming to play basketball. He was just making that transition in. And I don't know what you guys are doing now, but this kid was pretty big to be at a high school. Even I was looking at it. And he was a junior, and he was going to be going next year, would be his senior year. So he had just finished the football season, and the dad was really kind of concerned because this kid had made varsity his freshman year, didn't play a whole lot, but played enough, showed those signs. But then his sophomore year, he took off, right? Was in the papers, had this great year, especially as a sophomore. Everybody's paying attention to them. And then this year, which happened to have been his junior year, the season that just passed, the previous coach had retired. And a new coach came in, and this new coach came in, brought this freshman quarterback with him, and they redid the whole team. Now they are a passing team. They're not a running team anymore. And his son just didn't have that great a year. I mean, compared to where he was, the trajectory for him, it had stopped as far as the dad was concerned. The dad was really concerned. Now you just had your junior year, and should I change schools? And this is what he was kind of bringing to me. Now, I'm not a person to tell anybody what they should do, but I'm listening to him talk, and this is something that I wanted to talk about today. So it felt like everything was rigged against his son from that trajectory. Now, he did look at it from when that kid that may have been a running back when his kid came there, he didn't look at it being rigged against the other kid. He just thought his kid was better and his kid deserved that. And so you start to see things through this really closed up lens. And what I want everyone to do is, and I'm going to be going on this as we start to move forward and all the things that we're doing with Sports Solutions, the other things that we're bringing in, I want you guys to just open your eyes. What do you see? What is there? What is the next thing that you could be doing that nobody else is paying attention to, but you see it because your eyes are open for the first time? You're going with the possibilities. And one of the ones we're going to talk about today is the and, right? So anyway, so he's talking, and so the immediate thing was should I transfer to another school because this other school would love to have his son come over, and so that was his option. Do I transfer or do I stay here? And those were two things. And so a couple of things I just told him because I didn't want to give everything out and then have him just discombobulated, right? I got all this stuff to worry about. So I said, well, if you change schools, your son's here, he's already in his junior year, he's got all of his friends, you know, everything that he likes to do. He's going to make the basketball team right now, so I'm not quite sure if that's an advantage. But if you see your son as a running back only, a runner, then maybe that's what you do. But then I did give him this. I said, if they did a lot of passing, I go, well, how come they didn't throw the ball to the back, out of the backfield? Has he been working on that? Because that seems like an option to me that, okay, so I've proven that I can run. I did that in my sophomore year. Even my freshman year, I did okay, but in my sophomore year, I was great. You know I can run. But now I can pass, I can catch out of the backfield. I go, that's a great skill set to have, right? I said, so maybe you talk to the coach and say, hey, we want to be more a part of the passing game. What do you think about that? And then have your son go and get a trainer specific for that. Ask the coach, do they have someone they can recommend? Maybe they can work with their own coaches, his own coaches, and get that done. And now, triple threat, double threat, whatever you want to call it. I go, the other thing though is, I don't know what happened this year, but I would think your son has to be a pretty good blocking, pass blocking back to be able to pick up blitzes and things like that, because that's what you guys did all year. Now, I didn't watch the games. I'm not a football expert or anything like that, but I got to think that's a pretty good skill to have, somebody that if you were a running back and you're thinking running, right, getting a bunch of yards, because you want to go as far as you can. You want to get your stats up. I get that. But if you went to, instead of all these running backs trying to go to this run university or this run college, what if you said, hey, you know what, I'm pretty good at this. I'm going to go to a college that throws a lot, and then they throw to the back out of the backfield, and then when they need me to run, I can run for them, and now I can do all of these things. I go, those are ands. You keep adding, you keep on improving your ability to impact the next level. What can I bring to you that somebody else can't? And so this is what I'm trying to get everybody to get into their head. The other thing I was thinking of was, and I didn't say this to the parent, those are the only two things I mentioned. The other thing I was thinking of was, how about going out and learn to be a wide receiver? Maybe that's a skill set you can pick up. This kid was a long, lanky, but he was a thick, just a solid kid. So whatever they're feeding, I don't know, because the dad didn't look that big. This kid was going to be good, and I can kind of tell that. And so why not go and try to be a wide receiver? That's another option for you. So there are all of these other aspects that you need to think about when you're thinking about what is next for me, what is open for me, what sets me apart from everyone else. And if our kids can get that, if they can get that idea of, and I'm an athlete and I'm something else. I'm a running back, but I'm also a great blocker, pass blocker. I'm also a great catch. I could catch the ball out of the backfield. On top of being a great running back also. Now, what I know about human nature, most parents would have gotten those offensive linemen, because I got to believe the offensive linemen were there during his freshman and sophomore years. They were run blockers, right? And now all of a sudden you got to become a pass blocker. And so that transition is probably difficult. Most parents would have probably got those parents together. Guys would have went to the AD and said, hey, XYZ, this isn't fair, just made a big stink. And so you got this division in the locker room, and now the high school coach has got to be thinking, okay, I got to bring some more offensive linemen in, and you have this antagonistic atmosphere within the program. But I was actually kind of refreshed to see that this dad had taken in his own head and said, okay, the future of this team is that quarterback. That freshman quarterback is going to be going to a sophomore year. I'm assuming he had a good year because the dad wasn't trying to fight it. And so he understood his situation, but what I think he was missing was he saw his kid as a running back, as gaining yards. That was his kid's ticket to the next level. But what he didn't see was all the other options around it. And so this is what we're going to try to do as we move forward. I hope you guys subscribe to this, because this is coming to me as I move forward too. And so it's the same thing that's happened to me in my business. The big change for me from when I started, I wrote this great software. I've got it ready for these kids. It's going to help all these families. I'm ready to go. Family's going to make some money from it, all of this stuff. And then I had to go, and I wasn't getting there. It just was not happening. People weren't trusting it. It was a very slow process. But then just a little switch in my head that said, okay, what am I not seeing? What am I missing here? And that's what changed everything for me. I became an and. I started to go to other organizations that were already in the industry because I had no contacts. And I said, hey, I got this cool software. Will this help you further what you're doing? And all of a sudden doors opened up for me. And then I did just stay in certain sports. We expanded out to all sports. And then when we were talking to the high schools and I'm talking to the coaches and I'm realizing 95% of these kids aren't going to play at the next level. Hey, I need to add trade schools. I need to add it so that there is an academic only component. Now, we usually only give that out to the high schools because they have the counselors in place. Then I put a section in there for the counselors to be able to see the schools that the kids had chosen that weren't trying to necessarily get an athletic scholarship. And suddenly we start to expand. We start to have this big, wide-ranging thing. And now I'm accomplishing what I wanted to do in the first place. It's not help kids get athletic scholarship. Yeah, that's part of what our software can do for you. It can help you find your options and opportunities. But how do we get these kids to leverage what they already have, this capability they already have? How do you leverage that and just go forward and just have a great life? I really want our kids to have a great life, and I want them to come out of our program and what we're doing and also help other people as they move forward. I also want them to learn how to make connections. Our kids that play sports are around some of the greatest kids around, other kids that play sports, and even their families. And yes, I know some of the parents can be a little singular in how they think. They're just looking out for their kid. But for the most part, they want what's best for everybody also. I'm watching. I lived it. I wrote this because of my daughter and our situation. I didn't know what to do. I was very confused on how to get her a scholarship. And the biggest problem for parents with kids that have that ability is time is so short. Right? You got your freshman year, maybe you didn't even make varsity, and the parent, you've got that anxiety there. Maybe you play JV, and then now you got to get over to varsity, and maybe your sophomore year, okay, I got the varsity, but I'm not getting a lot of playing time. And then your junior year, okay, finally my turn to get on the field, of course, the competition. I'm going against them, and I'm doing pretty good. And now I got to go from my junior year to my senior year, but that junior year to senior year, that summer before, that's your key year, right? That's where all of the coaches are looking for, okay, I need somebody that's on my radar, and then I'm going to watch them as they go through the summer. Looks pretty good. I'm going to watch them go through their senior year. Okay, this is my confirmation. And so all of that window is very, very tight. Then you got your academics. You got to make sure you took the right courses. You got to make sure that you are prepared to go to college. So you got all this stuff on your mind, and you feel like you can't flip, you can't mess it up even a little bit because there's somebody else that wants that spot too. So it feels very, very, very tight for everybody, and everybody's very stressed out about this whole thing. And so one of the reasons we wrote our software was, what if you knew all the schools you qualified for? What if you could go in, and even though you're being recruited by some other people, you're doing your normal things, you're playing travel club, you're going to combines, you're going to showcases, you're playing with your high school team, you've got a trainer, you're doing all this cool stuff, right? Stuff you would have done anyway. But then you've got this piece of software, AthleticSOS. Didn't cost you anything to use the software. Look down below, I give you a code, I give you instructions for how to use it. But now you've got a bunch of schools that you've vetted and you've reached out to them. Maybe you used your coach, your high school coach, maybe you used your travel ball coach, or maybe you had to do it yourself. But you've reached out and you said, hey, I'm interested in you guys, but here's why. Because you did a little bit of homework. Now you just set yourself apart from everyone else. And now as you go through your junior year, your senior year, and you're playing, all you're trying to do now is get verified. Yes, the coach is interested in you. They saw some film of you. They saw a highlight tape of you, or anything that you sent them. And now they're coming out and they're concentrating on you. Does this kid fit our program? I know they want to come here. I know we have the major. I know they academically qualified to go here. That's a triple threat for you. And so you're set apart. Now all you got to do is go out and perform, something no one else can do but you. But here's the other piece of it. You also get an opportunity to mess up a few times because they're going to come see over and over again. You're not one and out as everybody else is, because there's some bunch of coaches sitting in the stands and you don't stand out that day, or you have a bad day. That coach that knows you want to go there, that's already invested in seeing if you can play, they're going to give you an additional chance because they know everything's not perfect, right? So these are the kind of things I want you guys to be thinking about as you move forward. Throw an and in there. What do you not see? Don't get so locked into this is who I am, right? Expand who you are. And this is going to help your kid later on in life. And that's what we're all about. They're going to learn how to do their research. They're going to try to find the best fit for them in whatever they're doing. And they're not going to be stuck down one lane. right? So whatever their skill set, whatever major they're going to go into, whatever discipline they're going to go into when they go to college, or if they decide to go to trade school, or they decide to go to, they go to a junior, whatever they're deciding to do in life, what are my other avenues that no one else sees? Because I don't just look at things. My eyes are open now. There's all of these other lanes you can go to. Everyone doesn't get there through this straight line. Those are the stories that we hear or we see around us. It looks like some kids have just been touched by the golden sword or whatever it is, and things just seem like it's flowing for them. Those kids have a lot of anxiety and things going on in their life. They can't mess up either. I say this all the time and people laugh at me. I don't think you necessarily can make a bad decision if you've done any kind of research, right? I think what people get in their lives is they make assessments on everything. They try to look at it and they try to fix it so that the things going bad are leveraged against the chance of things going well. And they try to find that little sweet spot where really they took the safe spot out. And then all those other options and opportunities they had, they don't do. But I'm going to tell you guys this: if you don't take some chances, if you don't push just a little bit more on stuff, if you don't look at something that's outside the norm, you're gonna get locked into this world of conformity, and then you can't do great things. You simply can't do anything great unless you risk losing something on this side. So if you want to live a world of conformity, that comfort, I live in the suburbs out here, and it's very comfortable for us, and I worked for the government, very comfortable for the most part, although there's some nonsense inside of there too. But I've always tried to do things outside, go a different level, even within my work, even within my job. And that's great for you guys that are adults, that are watching it, that are parents, that are coaches, whatever it is. You have to do it. You see something, and if you don't, go sit back and go, okay, what am I trying to do? Where are we trying to get to? What do I see that no one else sees? And if you go for that and you stick with that, and that's the thing that you want to do, and you start seeing those openings and no one else is paying attention to it, that is where you make the big breakthrough. That is where you set yourself apart. That is where you can say, okay, they can't take this from me, because that came out of your mind. You saw it, and then you go and you pursue that. That is where the difference is. That's what makes a great life to me, because that you can hand back down to your kids, or if it's your kids coming up, they can join with other people that are already doing that same thing, and you get a group of people like that together, you change the world, man. That's just the way it is. So if you want to live a great life, you got to go and I do this, I do this, I do this, and this. And then the other thing you got to do is you got to open your eyes. You got to see it's there. It's sitting right in front of you. You just we're just not trained to look for it. Our whole life, academically, our parents, everything, here are the rules. If you do this, you should be okay. But if you feel comfortable in your life right now and everything seems fine, then you're missing opportunities. And if you feel a bunch of anxiety, if you feel like you don't belong, you feel like something's wrong out there and you can't quite put your finger on it, then that nervousness, that's good, because that means that you're looking for something, you're not satisfied with the way things are going. But don't take it negatively. Take it positively. Go, okay, I need to be doing something. What do and maybe you don't have anything right now. As you start going through your life, the next few days, weeks, months, maybe it takes a year, just keep looking around and don't look for a quick hit. Look for something that can benefit other people. That's really another part of the key. What can you do that can benefit someone else? And especially if you can benefit someone else that's already doing something, and go, hey, you know what, you guys are missing this. Let me go and do this. And so anyway, so those are all the things that I kind of want to talk about. I'd never come down on parents. I know the pressure on there. Even that dad, he wasn't trying to say, oh, my son, I'm going to do this because my son got messed over or something like that. He was really thinking about transferring schools from his kids in his junior year, just finished his junior year of football. So his next year was going to be his senior year. But what he was seeing was that it's not going to fit and benefit his kid 100%. But I think it will benefit his kid 100%, because his son gets the opportunity to improve and expand his game. That if he's using our software, go start looking at schools that have their backs coming out of the backfield to catch the ball a bunch of times, or that need someone that can pick up that linebacker that looped around, or that offensive line when they're doing stunts on that line, that he recognizes it because he's been doing it for 2 years. And so doesn't that make you more valuable? I think it does. So anyway, those are some of the things I want you guys to think about, some of the things that we're trying to think about. We want our kids to think about as they move forward. We don't just want to be a recruiting service. We're not a recruiting service. We just have a great piece of software. We are an and to you. We're not, oh, go use AthleticSOS and forget everything else. No, go do what you're doing anyway, but use us too. And we have some back pocket things for you so that you have some stuff in your back pocket when everybody else is going out to those showcases, those viewing tournaments, those combines, whatever else you're going to, you go, okay, I have this too. And that's how you move forward in the world. All right, guys, as always, best of luck to you in everything you do. And again, down below, I give you the code. I give you instructions for how to use the code. Software doesn't cost you anything to use. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. We've got a bunch of really cool people we're working with now. We're getting towards the end of the year. It's November now. I told you guys I'm hopefully by next week or the week after for sure, I'll be able to give you guys some information on my toy of the year if you're going to get something for your kids for Christmas. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more in December about the business, how I got started, where we're going with it, my setbacks, the joys of it, the negatives, positives, all that kind of stuff. Because I think one of the things that people do when they are successful in business or things are going well, they tell you when they get to the end. But I'm telling you as we move along. And then the other thing they do, they don't tell you all the little things, the little tiny things that could set you off and make you started something, but then you don't want to do it anymore. It's just too much. And so I want to try to give you some ways to skip over that. So anyway, so we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. So guys, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. We're going to put a bunch of cool stuff out, and we'll just keep moving forward. All right, thanks a lot, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.